Hey, welcome back to the channel. Back in the garage today. Have to look at something on the Harley Davidson Sport Glide. I don't know if any of you've ever had this issue, but out for a ride and the security light keeps staying on. So I have to try and fix it. Anyways, let's get into it. So for whoever doesn't know, the security light is the little light here on your dash that flashes letting you know that the security is on. So I went for a ride the other day. It was like a 5-hour ride, and I would notice it was coming on. It would stay on for anywhere from a couple of kilometers to it would just flash and go out. Bike was still running fine and everything. And to be honest with you, I actually noticed this before. And what I did is I went on to the owner's manual and actually looked up like security light staying on. And the only thing it showed in there is if this happens, bring it to an authorized dealer. So obviously that's not going to work. So I had to do, the internet sleuthing stuff. Went online, went to a couple forums and everything. The first thing people talked about is the battery fob. Or the battery for the fob. Now, I didn't think this is what it was because I've had that sign or the warning come up that low battery for the fob before. But anyways, I tried it. I changed the battery, took it out for a ride, and yeah, sure enough, it still comes on, goes off. Again, bike runs fine. So another way it could actually be your key fob. Might not be the batteries, but why it might trigger that is they talk about electromagnetic fields and stuff like that from hydro wires and stuff like that, which actually I was kind of hoping it might have been something like that because I was hoping, maybe it was my Ridge wallet, no, I'm not sponsored by Ridge. I actually use them, but hey, if Ridge wants to, they can. But yeah, I thought maybe because I just throw my keys in my pocket, it could be something like that. However, something that it could be is actually I can't show you, but my phone case. I use Rockform. If you don't know, Rockform works on basically you clip it in here, but it also works on magnet. And I already do know it does screw up my car keys. It's not so bad with the Harley, but it could be something like that. Is if I have my phone in my pocket with my keys, it could be causing that because I have had an issue starting it when they have to be right against each other, not just in my pocket. Where my car keys, if they're just in my pocket, it stops from working. But it actually has to be on the magnet for it not to work, but it potentially could be that for you. If you carry your phone, I don't usually put my Rockform on there very often. I actually just put this on because I was going to a trip. But yeah, anyways, if Rockform wants to sponsor me, they can sponsor me too. I'm not sponsored by anybody. But yeah, that could be another thing that is causing that issue. So the other thing it could be is apparently it draws voltage or amperage or something through the electrical, so it's almost like a warning light for that. So the next thing was to check the lights. I did put this one here has LED from factory on the rear lights. However, the front ones didn't, and I had replaced those ones with LED, but I didn't think that was the issue only because they're Harley Davidson lights that I put on there. That and the fact that these are LEDs, so I wouldn't think that would be an issue. So if it is that, you're supposed to get a regulator or something like that and put in there, and it will take it away. So it could mean that. It could be also the bulb was out, or one of the bulbs in anywhere could be out. Don't have that issue on this bike. All the bulbs are working. And then the last thing, what it actually ends up being my issue, is actually brakes. And no, not that the brakes won't work. It's actually the brake switches. Let me show you. So with the bike on, you can see lights are illuminated. This is the rear brake. Works no problem. However, front brake stays on. wiggle it around, it goes out. Hold the brakes in, light stays on. So it is something that's in the brake switch here. So I'm gonna have to open up the brake switch and see if I can figure it out here. See, again, they're still staying on. So yeah, let's open up that. Another thing that should have led me to kind of know that's what it would be the brakes, which I didn't really think of it until after, was when I took that 5-hour ride, my cruise control sometimes wouldn't work. It would turn on, I got it to work, it would work fine, and then I would try to put it on again and it wouldn't work, and I kept trying it, and then miraculously it would work again. So that would be a clear indication that that might be what it is, because for those that don't know, when you have your cruise control on, anytime you touch your brakes, the cruise control will go off. I guess it's into the switch, not the actual brake pressure. So that's a good way of knowing that might be why your security is staying on. Anyways, let's open this up. Sorry, I'm bad for this. I didn't film actually going through what I did. But as you can see, that's just, it's working. All I've done, most of you probably already know this, loosened these here, took this off. The actual thing, the switch is actually in here, and the way it works is this pushes it in to turn the brake lights off. So it actually is opposite of what I thought. So you see how when you pull in, the lever goes out, so that's actually letting the button come out, and that's turning the brake lights on. Pushing it in, that's what turns the brake lights off. So doing this turns it on, because the button comes out. When you release, it's pushing the button back in, and that's turning the lights off. All I did is I just went in and cleaned up that area, and it seems to be working. But I'm going to go test it out. I'll test out the brakes to make sure the security light doesn't come on, as well as I'll check to see that the cruise control works as well. So let's go take it out. There, just got back. Works fine. Cruise control works. No issues with the security light coming on. So yeah, that might be your issue too if you have your security light that keeps coming on when you're riding around. Anyways, until next time, later.